positive things are going on in the local church?
Let's see, well, I drive a minibus for the local church to pick up people for their lunch.
We've just had a new vicar and there's a lot of positive work being done.
We have a taxi that fetches us to church every month.
I find that they're trying their best to get in touch with the present people, but they've got to, in a way, preach more of the pure gospel as opposed to trying their best to fit in with everybody else's views.
A lot of fundraising going on and people are joining in and helping.
And we have a service every month that's put on for the children.
We had a harvest festival for the school children and it was absolutely super.
To do the Alpha course, and they're doing a lot of things like discos for the youngsters, and it's really good, you know, outreaching. But it's making a difference.
No, not really, I don't think.
In the first section of this video, we discovered that the church is being challenged to face many changes. Few of us cope well with change, but many positive things are happening in the church today. People have realised that new approaches are necessary if we are to obey Christ's command to love our neighbour wherever we are. This estate is an area that has many problems. Unemployment is high and there's a high level of recorded crime. The parishioners of this church felt the need to draw alongside the people of the estate in an effort to help them deal with some of their problems.
The estate had quite a lot of families on it, and so it was felt that really somebody to work full-time on the estate alongside families was what was needed. And an application was put forward to the Church Urban Fund, and it was successful. The church received a fairly substantial grant, somewhere in the region of £45,000 I think, which I think at the time was one of the largest CUF grants that had been given. And in 1993 I was then employed as the detached families worker for Christ Church. One of the main problems is the poverty that exists. There are quite a lot of families who are living on benefit. There's a high level of unemployment. Another problem I think is isolation. And so there are people who come into houses on the estate who feel isolated and aren't really sure what's going on in the area. And so one of my roles is sort of befriending them and letting them know what's going on. There have been lots of like little mini projects that have been added onto the project. I suppose the main one really is our furniture scheme that's developed over the last 2 years. Many of them need furniture when they're moving into the new homes. So myself and the two wardens there were always on the lookout for furniture. And then 2 years ago we were offered we applied to the council and we were offered an industrial unit where we can store the furniture. We've since been given the use of a van by North West Water Authority on a rolling 12-month programme, and so we can transport furniture around now. And we're just moving into the stage now where we're employing a part-time van driver coordinator. I was called and put forward for LNSM training, and after going to a selection conference was accepted for training. As an ordained minister within the Church of England, that will enhance my ministry to the point where I will become a minister and I'll be able to do all the things that a minister does.
This is a very different type of parish, but here too the church had grown remote from those who needed it and a new vision was required.
It all sprang, I suppose, from a stewardship mission some years ago. We needed to raise cash, I suppose is the plain answer, and from that stemmed the first moves towards local ordained ministry. We had job descriptions drawn up for 4 local non-stipendiaries and we've actually only found people to fill 2 of those job descriptions because it tends to make people ask questions about their own life and commitment, and it's drawn people in that way, I think. We have luncheon clubs, drop-ins, a craft group that meets to do all sorts of arty stuff, decoupage and stuff like that, as well as all the usual kind of church things like youth groups, uniform groups. We actually have to have a booking system for the room now because most days, there's more than one group demanding its use. We get people into the building and hope that actually they'll begin to see that the Christian faith is something that says things about their life and has things to say to them. The life in this place it's just gone through the roof really since we first started on the first stewardship mission. Every church relies too heavily really on a small number of people, and that group here has been widened enormously. I mean, there are people involved now running some of our groups who've only become involved in the last kind of 6 months, and often those people, because they've come through somebody else's activity, become active themselves.
Another parish responded to the needs of its area by providing a project worker to live and work alongside the residents.
This area has got one of the highest teenage pregnancy rates in the country. They often do need more support than older parents, because they're still doing a lot of growing up themselves and finding out who they are themselves. So we just try to be there for them and help them support their baby in the best way they can. Some can feel sort of a sense of isolation. So a lot of what we do is building up relationships and friendships with people. It's really good to see, after a year of coming to toddler group, people beginning to meet each other outside. The congregation at St Ambrose Church is very involved in the day-to-day aspects of the work. Some of them are running the toy library now. People are very involved in the management committee of the project. The Methodist Church and the Elim Pentecostal Church are very involved with the project, both in terms of prayer support for the project and in terms of practical help.
3 parishes who, because of their shared Christian faith, responded to the particular needs of their area. They saw what was required and they went out and did something about it. Your parish, be it rich or poor, well supported or struggling with a faithful few, is also called to journey onwards in faith. What vision has God given to you that will best express the life of the gospel and serve the people of your area? We must ask ourselves the question, where on earth do we think we're going? And then we must go out and do something about it.